What are hymns? And why is it worth singing them as a church? Aron and I have been on a journey of rediscovering, refreshing, and sometimes reinventing some epic old hymns so that we could sing them together as a church. We've tried doing this with several amazing old hymns that have fallen by the wayside. And each week, we'll pick one, discuss it, and sing our take on it. We'll also be taking a close look at the hymn writer of old who originally wrote the hymn. You're listening to Hymnology 101. We hope you enjoy. Hello, welcome to Hymnology 101 with me, Sam.
And me, Aron.
It's our first proper episode, everyone who's listening. This is exciting. First episode. And what we want to do is talk about on each one a hymn writer and then a song or two maybe by them that me and Aron have looked at and tried to refresh for us at Gabalfa Baptist Church so that we could sing it. And then this is the hook for everyone listening. At the end, me and Aron are going to sing a song at the end of each podcast. It's what I know you're most looking forward to, Aron. People hearing your angelic voice. So as tell us, who's the hymn writer we're looking at in this first proper episode?
Right, so today we're going to look at Augustus Toplady.
Great.
Yeah, but first, shall I give you just a generic history fact about music?
That'd be great. Yeah, we want to do this, right? Start with, because basically this is you teaching me about hymns as well as anyone listening a little bit. And some history. You're a history man, aren't you?
Yeah.
Ancient history was your thing. Go on.
I'm also being taught as well, just by reading.
Yeah, that's class.
So it's just, it's cool.
We're all learning together.
Yeah, we're learning together.
This is our Hymnology 101 as well. Yeah. So what you've got a little hymn tidbit. Go on, what is it?
Well, so in the last podcast, we mentioned, hymns that we sing and the fact that they're mostly written by pastors. Isaac Watts was one of them who wrote, obviously, Joy to the World.
Yes.
Doing some reading afterwards, did you know that Joy to the World is not actually about Jesus' birth?
Joy to the world, the Lord is come, let earth receive her King. Okay, what's it about then?
So, because it's based on Psalm 98.
Right.
Which I said in the last podcast. I thought, it's probably just, they're talking about the birth there.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you go through it, originally it was written and it's based on Jesus' second coming.
Right, okay.
Because Psalm 98 is a second Advent psalm, not a first Advent psalm.
Why is it definitely a second Advent, not a first Advent?
Because it talks about judgment at the end.
Wow, okay.
He's coming back, let all the earth rejoice.
Right.
And, let the earth receive her King. He's already ascended.
Heaven and nature in a new creation sense we'll sing, I guess, yeah.
So that's a cool little fact there. We sing it at Christmas, but we could sing it.
At the end of a service on Revelation or something, like thinking about the new creation or
even before, this is kind of like a Advent-y season, isn't it? It's more of it's not like a Christmas Day sort of, it's like, it's less of a Christmas song, or its intent was less Christmassy.
Well, this is something me and Lee say a lot. Like, it seems when you read Old Testament passages on the Lord's coming, it's like there's almost like a glitch between first Advent, second Advent. It's like, at one point you think, it's definitely talking about when Jesus comes on Christmas Day. And then it's like, but then it feels like it's talking about Judgment Day. It's an interesting one, isn't it? But
it's like some saints in the Old Testament, they kind of ignore the first coming and they just look at the second coming.
Enoch
it's like
preached about,
incarnation's great, but let's just mention the second coming.
Well, we know he's coming first time, but we're thinking about the second time.
Yeah, and it seems like a lot of the Psalms are like that. So Psalm 72, again, so we sing Hail to the Lord's Anointed at Christmas, don't we? But again, that Psalm 72 is a new creation psalm where Jesus is reigning.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
It's kind of like,
but I think it's like you could legit sing it about Christmas.
We could, but also we can
also sing it about the new creation, his judgment day.
Yeah, so it's okay if we're in May and we're doing a series on the Second Coming.
Yeah. I remember you telling me
And,
a friend of yours really laughed when you said that we sung, what's the Stuart Townend Christmas one? What is it? Oh, titles are eluding me.
Oh,
Do you know the one I'm on about? No. Not When Love Came Down to Earth. From the Squalor of a Borrowed Stable. That's it. Because I know we sung it a bit here, totally out of season.
Yeah.
Like, just because it's a gospel song.
Yeah, yeah.
And your mate really laughed. Because he's like, but you can't sing that. It's just a Christmas song.
You can't sing that.
In June.
Well, you can.
No,
so,
it's funny, isn't it? Because we can.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
thanks,
probably like the most popular, most well-known Christmas
with Hark the Herald
carol. Yeah.
Because these days people are like, I want to write a Christmas banger.
Joy to the World's in it.
Yeah, but Isaac Watts isn't thinking, I want to write a Christmas song, like Band-Aid or something like that. He's not trying to do the Pogues or Mariah Carey. He's just writing a song based on this psalm.
Yeah, he's like reading Psalm 98,
yeah.
And he's thinking, let's just write a hymn about the Second Coming here.
Love that.
Yeah.
Thanks. So you're going to give us a tidbit like that at the start of each one. I love that. That's blown my mind. Right. Okay. Thanks for that.
Yeah. So Augustus Toplady.
This is who we're talking about today.
Yeah.
So who is Augustus Toplady? What I want to know is, was he bullied in school? Because if you're a lad called Toplady, I mean, that's got to be difficult, isn't it?
I know. Yeah, I don't know.
No stories
There's
about that.
No stories about that.
Shame.
His middle name's Montague as well, so it's a bit of an awkward one.
Yeah,
First name's a bit
Augustus Montague Toplady.
Yeah.
Was he posh? Was he of the aristocracy?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, so his dad's in the Royal Navy.
When was he alive?
So 1740 he was born. Mm-hmm. His dad was away, and he died while he was away fighting in a battle.
His dad died while he was away. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, so his mum brought him up.
Wow.
On her own. Sent him to college in Dublin. So I think even though they might be Irish.
Right.
So, Irish church members, or Northern Irish church members, you can have an affiliation or association with.
Is it Northern Irish or
Dublin?
Dublin. So that's Republic of Ireland. So that's the capital.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, no. Northern Ireland have nothing. They're like, no, we don't want anything to do with.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Forget that. Then.
Okay, but if you're Irish, though.
Yeah. So he went to college at Dublin, a university, I suppose, and he was saved there.
Yeah.
Someone was preaching on Ephesians, and he was saved. And then I think he moved to England then to further his studies, and then he kind of then started reading more and had a calling, and then he got ordained in the Church of England.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So he's quite a major figure in terms of hymn writing.
Yeah. So so he was a pastor, was he, or what was his?
So he was ordained.
Role? Yeah.
And then became a pastor.
Yeah.
I think he moved around a bit in his first few years, and then he got placed in this one place in Devon.
Right.
For about 8 years. I can't remember where.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, he was settled there for a while.
Right. Now, what will be interesting to our church, I guess, is how will they know this guy? Like, what songs do we already sing by him?
So his most famous hymn is Rock of Ages, Cleft for Me.
Wow. Which is a really well-known hymn. There's actually a film, right? Do you know it? Called Rock of Ages, which isn't about anything Christian. It's a comedy. I think I've seen it once about a rock band. But what I'm saying, I bring that up because that phrase "Rock of Ages" is in our popular culture.
Yeah,
I was actually shown a song by Phoebe Bridgers the other day. She she references it.
Oh yeah,
it's
from
massively in
it's really massively influenced
our popular culture. It's just in the ether now, isn't it? That phrase.
Yeah, it's quite a well-known refrain as well, isn't it? Rock of Ages. It's got quite catchy.
But also in churches, obviously, that's just a very famous hymn.
Very famous hymn. It's probably his most famous hymn.
Yeah.
And there's a really interesting story about that hymn, actually.
Okay, yeah.
So some people think it's like a bit of like legend.
Folk legend, yeah. No, we love it. What is it?
Apparently he was traveling between two villages, and he got caught in a storm, and it was a really ferocious storm. So he kind of ran into this cleft in the rock.
Wow.
And he was just sheltering there.
This can't be true.
And apparently, yeah, he was like
it's too
sheltering
neat
from the storm. He was like dwelling on, the Exodus passage.
Yeah,
where Moses been hidden in the rock.
Yes.
And
that's where he sees the father's back, right? The back.
Yeah, he
parts
sees
of-
the Lord's back.
Yeah.
It's like he's hidden, and then in Corinthians as well, it says that rock amongst
Yes,
you was Christ.
it's Christ. Yeah.
Apparently, he's like dwelling about that when he was like hidden in this cleft in the rock, and then kind of came up with the first couple of verses of Rock of Ages in that place.
Yeah.
And it's actually there's a plaque there. You can actually go visit this place.
The Rock of Ages.
Yeah. So it's in a place called.
You've got a picture of it in your notes.
There it is.
Can I see it? Sorry. That's mental. Okay, cool. Yeah.
So it's called Burrington Combe Gorge in North Somerset.
No way. Well,
So you
that's
can-
just down the road. We could go.
Yeah, we could-
we should do a podcast from the Rock of
We
Ages.
could go when we're on church holiday. We could literally make a trip there.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, day trip to
so
the
North
Toplady
Somerset.
Rock.
Yeah, you can go there. But that's it's a bit like we're not sure because the first record of this story was 1923 or something.
That's hilarious.
So it's like nearly 150 years after. So
Yeah, I know. Someone's just thought,
yeah,
we need some more tourism in North Somerset.
let's think. Who's a great hymn writer? Rock of Ages. Oh, this is a great. There's a
That
great.
rock, we got a big rock. Dave, we got a big rock.
Yeah.
We'll put a plaque on it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it would be a weird idea to think, oh, people love hymn writers. I don't know if that would be the biggest draw, but
No.
but
Yeah.
maybe 150 years ago that would have been. It's
a cool story, though, isn't
It's a
it?
cool story. I'd love it to be true. I just feel
Yeah.
like, I don't know if it sounds too nice. It sounds too neat.
We can ask him in heaven.
Yeah, like
Augustus.
tell us. Montague, Top Lady.
Yeah, we're definitely going to call him Top Lady.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you write it in the cleft of the rock, or were you just, studying Exodus?
Yeah, he was like, yeah. No, I was in my office.
Yeah, I was in
Obviously,
the office.
no. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love that story. That's great. So that's his number one hit.
That's his number
That's
one
track
hit.
one on the best of.
Yeah.
Any others? Is that it? That's all we sing, is it?
We sing that one, but
Have we ever sung any of those?
yes. So we have sang during lockdown.
Yeah.
We sang "A Debtor to Mercy" alone.
Yes.
Which is actually the first time we got together and we worked.
And tried refreshing.
Yeah, we
hymn.
refreshed that hymn.
Great. Yeah. So that was one you just said. Oh, I've done this with this hymn.
Yeah, there's.
How
this
did you come
old-
across those words then?
I kind of knew it as it's relatively famous. It's like Rock of Ages, a couple of others, and then Debtor
Yes.
to Mercy is like
Yeah, okay.
number 4 on the
track 4
yeah,
on
track-
Top Lady's Best Of.
yeah.
Okay.
It was probably number 4 in the charts.
Yeah,
back
yeah,
in,
back
the
in-
1750s or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was written by him, inspired. Oh, he was obviously a pastor, so he wanted his congregation to really know that their debts have been paid by Jesus and wrote it. So yeah, that's another famous one
Yes,
of his,
okay.
which we did once in
Yeah.
church during the lockdown, where
Yeah.
we were just singing, where we could just sing things that we haven't sung
Yeah,
before.
that's right. So we should talk about that one just a bit then, and because we're actually going to sing another one at the end, but we'll come to that in a second. So,
Yeah,
"A Debtor to Mercy" alone is you kept the words right. It's 3
Yeah.
verses.
3 verses, really short.
Do you want to read to us some of the lyrics? Have you got any of them? Oh, I've got them here.
There we go. Great, we should have done this before.
It's all right. We're doing it on the fly. People understand.
fly.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
go on, read us some.
A debtor to mercy alone, of covenant mercy I sing. No fear with his righteousness on, my person an offering to bring. The terrors of law and of God, with me can have nothing to do. My Saviour's obedience and blood, hide all my transgressions from view.
Boom. Yeah, so it's just quite up from
Yeah.
the gospel, what it's done to me.
Yeah.
The best verse we agree, right, is the the last verse. Is it the last?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Go on, read the verse 3.
This is great, yeah. My name from the palms of his hands, eternity will not erase. Impressed on his heart it remains, in marks of indelible grace, which I think is where indelible grace get there.
It must be.
Yeah. Their title from. Yes, I to the end shall endure, as sure as his promise is given. More happy, but not more secure, the glorified spirit in heaven. That's just an epic line.
Yeah, because what he's saying is that in heaven, when I'm with Jesus, or in eternity, I'll be more happy for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm as secure in Christ now as I'll ever be. I'm not going to be
Yeah.
more secure when Jesus returns or when I die.
Yeah.
More happy, but not more secure.
Yeah.
The glorified spirits in heaven. Yeah.
Yeah. The people who are with Jesus right now are not more secure than we are.
Then they have. Yeah. Yes. That's
mental.
mental, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's such a comfort, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think drove him to write songs like "Rock of Ages," "A Debtor to Mercy Alone"?
I think it's just, they're filled with scripture from the Old Testament. And
Yes.
seeing, Jesus from Genesis to Revelation.
Yeah.
And it was a means for him to teach his congregation by writing these, when you're reading, Exodus,
Yeah.
you can think about this.
Yes.
Or when you're reading, the Psalms, you can think about this. Or,
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just as much New Testament as it is, Old Testament as it is New Testament.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's the whole canon
the
of the
whole-
scripture he brings in.
Yeah.
And
And
what I think, and with Why Do I Fear and Unbelief, which we'll come on to
Yeah.
in a second, but it deals with the fact that people feel guilt and shame
Yeah.
and no real comfort, and where am I to look for help?
Mm-hmm.
He just seems to go for these big pastoral issues that he must
Yeah.
have seen, right? Being a pastor with his people.
Yeah.
like, this is what people need to be singing about, the hope, the
Yeah.
protection, the comfort that is in Jesus Christ.
Yeah, exactly. There's
Yeah.
no fuzzy stuff. It's
No.
like he doesn't mince his words at
No.
all. He's like, every line matters, every word matters. And I want them to be taught through this. So yeah,
You said he died when he was 38 to me earlier.
yeah.
right?
Well, it's
Young.
actually 37.
Oh gosh.
I'd done the maths wrong.
Yeah.
That's actually the year falls as if it would be
Mm.
30. He would have turned 38, but it's 37. So
'Cause he died
he's
young.
very young,
Yeah.
ordained quite young. He was pastoring for about 15 years.
Mhm.
And
Man.
he's, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And that must have been a reality
Mhm.
in lots of the members of his church, people dying in
Yeah.
their 30s, 40s, 50s. So, that sense of urgency with the gospel, like I think a lot
Yeah.
of, our generation, we feel like we're not going to die. And we also just ignore death. We pretend it doesn't exist. But they would have been faced with it, the how near it looms over
Yeah.
them so much more. And you sort of sense that urgency to sing, we need comfort. We need to
Yeah.
answer death. We need to answer the guilt that we feel, the fact we're going to face God's judgment. So that line, the terrors of law and of God, with me can have nothing to do.
yeah.
What comfort, to sing that when I'm 30, I might not have long to live.
Yeah.
That's a bizarre thought, isn't it?
Yeah, those days, and lots of illnesses and plagues were
Yeah.
quite common.
No NHS, no,
Yeah.
you can't, no paracetamol.
No.
No.
Your best bet was your local sort of
Witch
barber
doctor. The quack.
Yeah, the barber
Like,
surgeon.
yeah.
Often pastors as well were barber surgeons. So they were on a side note, it's basically they're physicians of the soul, but also physicians of the body.
Oh my
So if you're
goodness.
sick spiritually, of course you go to the pastor.
Right.
It's like, I'm struggling with lust. I'm going to the pastor.
Right.
He's going to tell me, he's going to pinpoint what my issue is.
Yeah.
My desires are all wrong. I need to look to Jesus. But if my legs got a swell, I need to go to the pastor.
If my legs got a swell,
Yeah.
I need to go to the pastor.
Often that was
That's
the
what they
case
do.
back then. Yeah.
Really?
So, another famous guy, Richard Baxter.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really funny, but, so his congregation grew in 10 years for 600 plus.
Yeah.
But he probably killed off half of them because went to him, he was giving him all sorts of cutting their arms off and stuff. Oh, you need to.
Are you serious? Really?
Yeah, seriously. He was a barber surgeon in the war.
Oh, right. Okay.
And he became a pastor.
So you're not saying every pastor?
Not everyone,
no.
but it's very common for
Right.
people to go and seek for help or advice to their pastor when they were like,
because there just wasn't
sick.
doctors like what we have.
Yeah.
It's so different, isn't it? Yeah.
And I think the link then was like, I could die tomorrow with this illness.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to my pastor.
Right,
He
of
might be able
course,
to help me
yeah.
out with the medicine or, some potions.
But really, the pressing issue is if I do die,
yeah.
I need to know
Yeah.
I'm going to be safe. The terrors of law and of God. What do I do about that? That's great. Let's talk about the song we're going to sing, which we'll sing in a couple of minutes now.
Yeah.
So this song you worked on with Josh Clark and Izzy, your wife.
Mm-hmm.
Josh isn't your wife. Izzy is. And what was the original title of this?
So I think it's From Whence This Fear and
Right.
Unbelief.
Okay.
So I just changed it a little bit. So it means the same thing in
Yeah.
modern English. It just, why do you fear an unbelief? It's just, there's no need to fear anymore.
So this song is dealing with
Yeah.
unbelief.
It's dealing with unbelief of the believer who's struggling with sin.
Yes.
Struggling with, doubts.
Yeah.
Maybe at the verge of death. It's like, am I really saved?
Yes.
Again,
so that it's funny because that's a similar theme,
Yeah.
isn't it? It is these big things of, you're thinking of death,
Yeah.
thinking of where's my help come from.
Yeah.
And actually, again, there's real Old Testament references because it's got to do with the high priest, this song, really, hasn't it?
Yeah, massively. I think this this song, and there's no like evidence of it, but so Toplady was heavily influenced by John 17.
Right.
Just his whole life.
Yes,
like,
okay.
He would say that was the moment. He was saved through someone preaching through Ephesians, but he read, I think it was like some Puritans on Thomas Manton on John 17,
Mm-hmm.
and that really just changed his whole view of like, it's Jesus'
Yeah.
high priestly prayer for his people.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just massively,
Yeah.
focused his attention, focused his whole ministry, I think.
Right, cool, okay.
So that's why in a lot of his hymns is like Jesus as high priest, and his atoning kind of high priestly
Yeah.
role
Yeah.
is very present in the hymns, but also probably because to his people he's thinking
Yeah.
they need to know Jesus as a high priest, and that's
Yeah.
why they don't need to fear, because there's one of us who's representing
Yes,
us in heaven.
both man and God.
Yeah, and he prayed for us. John 17 is Jesus praying for
Yeah.
those who are yet to believe, who are his.
Yes.
And it's just, yeah.
That's great. And I think this is something that inspired me and you a lot, is just how they will just sing the Old Testament. And
Yeah.
there is just this blur between old and new, that they just see it as one thing that the
Yeah.
Christian has and owns. And we should sing about that. I think is really lacking in modern songs. I hear it's like there's just less, because I think probably we've lost a lot of understanding of the role of the high priest, the role of even things to do with the atonement, or it sounds a bit too harsh or a bit too old school, a bit too foreign. It'll
Yeah.
go over our people's heads if we sing these sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, we preach this sort of thing, so it's good to sing also about the role of our great high priest in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? This is an ascension song, isn't it? This is what I think you were thinking.
Yeah,
of it.
I mean, I did add a verse to the original hymn and
Yeah.
a chorus.
Talk to us, sort of musically as well. Like, what sort of things did you do with this one?
So I just tweaked some of the words, which are a bit more kind of older, so like that we don't use anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
But also kind of changed the emphasis slightly to
Sure.
kind of focus a bit more on the ascension.
okay,
Rather than it just being like a high priest song.
yes,
That's a song about, or a hymn about the high priest. I wanted it to kind of be more, we can focus it around when we, look at the ascension.
Yes.
Ascension Day. We can sing it then, and
because that's something
Yeah.
we feel like, we realise we don't know what's the big deal with the ascension, and we see
Yeah.
that the saints of old would celebrate it,
Yeah.
and we're like, I don't even know when Ascension Day is. Like,
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah.
hopefully a bit of a help.
yeah. So the chorus is
Read it out.
Why do I fear an unbelief? The merit of my great high priest have bought my freedom, drawn me near. His blood brings peace with God. Why do I fear? And it's just, again, I just based that off what was already there in the hymn. And then at the end, I've added like well, is that your suggestion, actually? You're like, it needs to have like a response to what we've just sang, because often you can sing all this great content with doctrine, and there needs to be a response to it.
Yeah, I forgot about that, actually. Yeah.
So you were like, I think you should work on putting a doxology in. So I looked up Ascension doxologies.
All right, cool.
And I found one.
Yeah.
Who this the minister had written in the 1800s. So much
similar.
later.
Oh, right. Later, of course. Yeah, it's later, isn't it? Yeah.
And I kind of took inspiration from that. And I obviously with doxologies, they're praising Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, who are all at work in in salvation and in the ascension.
Yes.
So it's praise Christ the Son in heaven above, ascended priest and King of love, who with the Father I adore, and with the Spirit praise forevermore.
Beautiful.
That's a great way just to sum up our response to the ascension and Jesus being our high priest. And
I really love what you guys did with this song. I think it's brilliant. So should we give it a go? Should we sing it?
Yeah,
let's give it a go.
Let's go.
Well,
we haven't had a practice.
No, we haven't practiced, but we'll give it a go. Thanks for listening, everyone. So we'll just end with singing Why Do I Fear and Unbelief? Just grab my guitar.
I think it's the first time we've sang it together as well.
So it is.
So you can tune off now if you want and just not listen to us. But
yeah, okay. You ready, Az?
Why do I fear in unbelief? Has not the Father put to grief His spotless Son for me? Ascended now, He intercedes, my innocence to daily plead, with wounds from Calvary, with bleeding wounds from Calvary. Complete atonement He has made, and every penny has been paid of all the debt I owed. How then can wrath on me take place, if through my mediator's grace I am sprinkled by His blood? Yes, sprinkled by His precious blood. Why do I fear in unbelief the merits of my great high priest? Have bought my freedom, drawn me near. His blood brings peace with God. Why do I fear? Why do I fear in unbelief the merits of my great high priest? Have bought my freedom, drawn me near. His blood brings peace with God. Why do I fear? If Christ my ransom has secured, and freely in my place endured the whole of wrath divine, God will not payment now demands. His Son is paid with pierced hands. It is no longer mine. The payment is no longer mine.
do I fear in unbelief the merits of my great high priest? Have bought my freedom, drawn me near. His blood brings peace with God. Why do I fear? Why do I fear in unbelief the merits of my great high priest? Have brought my freedom, drawn me near. His blood brings peace with God. Why do I fear? Praise Christ the Son in heaven above, ascended priest and King of love, who with the Father I adore, and with the Spirit praise forevermore. Praise Christ the Son in heaven above, ascended priest and King of love, who with the Father I adore, and with the Spirit praise forevermore, and with the Spirit praise forevermore.
Nice.
Nice.
That's pretty good for first take.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Hymnology 101. If you've got any questions, you can email me at sam.smith@gabalva.co.uk. And you can follow us, Gabalva BC Music, on Spotify or iTunes. Thanks.